Intuition marked a big change as far as some fans thought. Some people really didn't see me going pop or electronic coming. I think the fans that were close to me saw it coming, from Jupiter's Transformation, doing the New Wild West, which was a political 60s style folk song set to an electronic track. I'd become interested in it and was playing with it. And then I met a friend of mine, Lester Mendez, and he was a really great programmer, and he wrote killer electronic music. And I really liked what programming did to folk songs. That instead of your ear tuning out and just going, oh, it's another folk singer, it makes you perk up. It makes you hear things in a new way. It's something that's done a lot now. If you listen to David White or Ed Sheeran, a bunch of other great singer-songwriters that are using dubstep and looping and things like that in a really traditional songwriting within that context. It's fun. It lets your ear hear something new. And I also was really struck, the economy and the war, everything was so tense in 2003 and 2004 that I wanted to write something that reminded me of the 1940s dance halls, of having fun and escaping and letting loose. And then that coupled with the challenge of trying to write pop songs that were hits, that were mercenary pop songs that were intelligent. It was such a great, difficult challenge. We've all heard songs that are really hooky, guilty pleasures, but they're not the smartest songs, or maybe the most well-crafted. And I wanted to try and do something that combined it all, that was a lyric I was proud of. Doesn't mean it was deep, just something I was proud of structurally or poetically. And then doing it to electronic music and making really good, stolid melodies. I'd been listening to the Beatles a lot, which I hadn't done before, and was really focusing on melody and form. And so that's really what inspired the record 0304, which stands for 2003-2004, as sort of a yearbook. It was much more socially pop culture relevant. I talked about current events, like Charlie Sheen say, and things that were happening at the time, which ironically still seem to be happening. Which I never did on other records. I always shied away from anything that might date a record. But on that record, I really didn't care. I just sort of wanted to embrace those 2 years in history and let it be like a time capsule for me. So Intuition was sort of the culmination of it. The video, I wanted to have it be ironic and funny, because I knew people would sort of be shocked. I think Clive Davis took me aside one day and said, nobody wants to see Joni Mitchell wear a miniskirt. He was very upset that I did dance music and that I did that video. And I thought it was really interesting. It was like an amazing culture study to see how people reacted to that song. And the video was very, very fun. I thought the video was funny, and it had a ticker tape about, now that I dance, I must sing better or something. It was just silly. Nobody got it. Everybody just, which kind of made it all the better. It was really kind of funny. But I'm proud of that song. Every time I play it, I really, I'm proud of that writing. I'm proud I was able to do that. Something that a lot of people aren't aware of is how songs get put together sometimes behind the scenes. I think one of the hardest things for me to adjust to was the fact that I'm a commercial artist. We work in a music industry, and you have record labels, and you have all kinds of opinions and people telling you what to do. And Intuition came about in a really strange way, and not in an ideal way. It's kind of the worst of what the music business is. But my label and some management at the time had decided to get me involved in a Brazzers campaign, and it had to be called Intuition. And there were monies paid to both parties, and I had to come up with a hit song, and it had to be my first single. So it was a really strange situation to be writing a song. I had to be writing a hit. I had to be writing a song called Intuition. And I was given these goals as if you're some sort of sniper and you can just come up with a hit that's about intuition, that's going to be authentic. And that was really hard. It was really difficult. I'm proud of the song that it came up with, and I don't feel like the song was a sellout at all, but it was a strange and weird circumstance to be writing a song within. Yeah, it was a huge challenge to try and pull off what seemed really impossible. How are you going to do something authentically that is being asked of you in a really inorganic way? How can you make something organic out of it? And with the record business at that point starting to go downhill, sales really, getting depleted, labels were really scrambling and looking for alternate forms of revenue. It's how videos started getting paid for. That's when people started using cell phones and videos so that they could get their video paid for by a cell phone company. It was really at the dawn of that. And it was a strange thing to start to have to look, to go from the 90s that was all about credibility, all about, you'd never dream of doing a commercial product. You just wouldn't. Nobody would. Today, you expect your celebrities to endorse Pepsi or do beauty campaigns. You know, I don't think new fans are blink an eye at it. But for that phase, going from the 90s into the 2000s, and especially for someone like me who was a singer-songwriter, you're faced with these dilemmas of, you know, you're not going to get a video made unless you can get somebody to sponsor it. And those types of things really started changing, that I think fans weren't aware of how much the music business changed behind the scenes as downloading and illegal downloading became more prevalent.